You did everything right, worked your tail off, paid your bills on time, every single time, never blew money you didn't have, built a career, raised a family, and still, at 45, your net worth is nowhere close to where it should be. That didn't happen because you didn't earn enough. And it didn't happen because you didn't work hard enough. It happened because, for years, every single time you took on debt, you were answering the wrong question. Now, I want you to stop, just for 10 seconds, and do some math with me. How many years of your life have you spent paying for things that, today, simply don't exist anymore? That car? Sold a long time ago. That remodel? Already dated. Those vacations? Faded into the past, barely more than a fuzzy memory. That furniture? Already replaced by newer furniture that'll get replaced too. But the hours you worked to pay for all of it, those never come back. And here's what almost nobody realizes. The biggest mistake of your financial life probably wasn't taking on debt. It was never learning how to measure what that debt was actually buying you. Because there's one single number. You can calculate it tonight. No spreadsheet, no advisor, no expensive course. Under 5 minutes. It answers a question that, without you even realizing it, may have decided your entire financial life. Was that debt buying you wealth? Or just a few more years of stress? Most people over 45 have never asked that question. Not once. They look at the interest rate. They look at the monthly payment. They check if it fits that month's budget. Sign. Pay. And repeat that cycle for 20, 30 years. Until the day comes when they look at their bank statement, their retirement account, the net worth they've managed to build, and something just doesn't add up. If you've ever felt that gut punch, doing everything you were told and still chasing your own money, stick with me till the end. Today, I'm going to show you the number that separates debt that fast-tracks your financial freedom from debt that quietly steals years off your retirement without you ever seeing it coming. Once you see that number, you will never look at a loan, a mortgage, or a credit card the same way again. Ever. If any of this hit close to home, drop a word down in the comments. Here. If you also feel like you did everything right and still didn't end up where you should be. And hit subscribe, because this is only the first of a lot of conversations we're going to have about what you were really taught wrong about money your whole life. Let me tell you about two people. Not famous, not some motivational poster story. Just two regular folks, kind of like you, kind of like your neighbor, kind of like the guy you work with. Same age, 45, give or take, right around where you're at now. Income practically identical, almost penny for penny. Same bank, same town. Both of them financed their house the same way, through the same bank, at the same rate. Both of them carried a credit card their whole adult life. Both worked hard, no shortcuts, no lucky break, no inheritance falling out of the sky. Now, fast forward 15 years. One of them hit 60 with the house paid off, no debt hanging over her head, savings that just keep growing on their own, and the freedom to decide whether she even wants to keep working. The other one hit 60 still making payments, still stretched thin at the end of the month, still pushing retirement back a little further, and a little further, and a little further still saying, I'll deal with it next year. The same way you might have told yourself more than once, if we're being honest. Same numbers on paper, 15 years ago. Same effort, same discipline, same sleepless nights worrying about bills. Completely different lives now. Remember when you thought all it took was working hard and paying your bills on time? Remember who told you that and how you believed it? Because it made sense? Because that's what everybody said? So be honest with yourself for a second, looking at your own life right now. Have you ever wondered why, even after doing everything right, you still feel like you owe your future some kind of explanation? Why that sense of security never actually shows up, even after all those years of grinding and sacrifice? What happened in between those two people wasn't luck. It wasn't one of them catching a financial break the other one missed. It was a quiet decision, made over and over, hundreds of times, across 15 years. One neither of them even realized they were making. And chances are, you're making that exact same decision right now, today, in this very moment, without even noticing. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of discipline. It's a blind spot, one nobody ever showed you because nobody had any reason to. Hold on to that question, because the answer's coming up next, and it's going to hurt a lot more than you'd expect. Here's the mistake almost everybody makes, and honestly, you probably too over the last 20 years. You learn to measure debt one way and one way only, by the payment. Does it fit my budget? Can I cover this every month without drowning? And if the answer's yes, you move on, figure you've got it handled. Sometimes you'll check the interest rate too, shop around a little, pick the cheaper option, and feel like you made the smart call. But that was never the right question, not even close. And maybe you felt it before, without being able to put a name to it. That nagging sense that even though you're paying everything just fine, something's still off underneath it all. The payment only tells you one thing: what it costs you every month. The rate only tells you another thing: what it costs you overall if you keep up that same pace. Neither one tells you the one thing that actually matters: what that borrowed money bought you, and whether it's still around, still worth something, still working in your favor. There's a single number buried underneath every debt you've ever had that most people have never once calculated in their entire life, not even out of curiosity. And that number is simple, simpler than anything a bank has ever bothered to explain to you. The value that debt created for you, divided by the total cost it racked up, down to the last penny. Above 1, that debt worked in your favor even while you were sleeping, even without you noticing. It bought something that grew in value, that generated income, that gave you freedom. Below 1, that debt drained you, slowly, month after month, year after year, and you probably had no idea because nobody ever taught you to look at that side of the equation. It financed something that's already gone, already lost its value, something that only existed the moment you bought it and never came back into your life in any form. Everybody asks, how much do I owe? Almost nobody asks, did that money ever come back to me in any shape or form, or did it just vanish into thin air, leaving me with nothing but the bill? And it's exactly that question, the one almost nobody asks, that separates the person who reaches 60 free from the person who reaches 60 still trapped, even though they worked the exact same way, for the exact same number of years, with the exact same effort. I'm about to show you exactly where that difference is born. And fair warning, this part's not going to be comfortable, so here it is. The difference between the person who retires free at 60 and the person who's still trapped was never how much they owed. It was what every borrowed dollar bought. Let that sink in for real. It wasn't the size of the debt. It wasn't the interest rate. It wasn't even how many years they spent paying it off. It was the direction. That's it. The direction. One of these two people borrowed money to buy a house that went up in value every single year she lived in it. The other one borrowed money to trade in his car every 3 years, a car that lost value the moment it drove off the lot and kept losing it month after month while the payment kept showing up like clockwork. One of them used a credit card as a tool, paid it off in full every single month for decades, no exceptions. The other one used it to survive the gap between paychecks and never once, not in 20 years, actually closed that gap for good. Same debt, same discipline, same decades of hard work. $1 bought a future. The other dollar bought a memory that's long gone. Now, I need you to stop for a second and look at your own life, at every loan you've ever taken out, at every payment you've ever made, month after month, without ever asking, does what I'm paying for still exist? Is it still worth something? Or did it already disappear, leaving only the bill behind? Damn, maybe that's you. Maybe you've spent 20 years, 30 years paying for things that vanished a long time ago, thinking you were handling your finances, when really you were just feeding a hole that never fills up. Oh my God, how did nobody ever show you this before? Nobody showed you because it's not good for business. The bank doesn't profit from explaining this to you. The dealership doesn't profit from explaining this to you. Nobody who profits off your yes has any reason to teach you to ask this question before you sign. So you kept signing, year after year, always with good intentions, always thinking you were doing the right thing because the payment fit, because the rate seemed reasonable, because everyone around you was doing the exact same thing, and nobody noticed, not you, not the person next to you, that the right question was never, can I afford this? The right question was always, is this thing I'm buying with borrowed money still going to be worth something after I'm done paying for it? Or is it going to disappear, leaving nothing behind but the memory of the payment? The real cost was never just the interest that showed up on your statement every month quietly, year after year, chipping away. That's just the visible part, the easy part to calculate. The part that actually hurts is the one nobody sums up into a single number for you. The real cost was the 18 months you could have spent debt-free, spent instead paying off a couch that doesn't even exist in your living room anymore. It was the retirement contribution you skipped, month after month, to make room for a car payment that turned into a trade-in 3 years later, like it never even happened. It was the wealth that compound growth would have quietly built in the background, year after year, while you slept, while you worked, while you lived your life. Money that never got the chance to grow because it walked out the door before it ever had the chance to work for you. It was the family vacations that kept getting pushed to next year, year after year, until the kids grew up and that window just closed for good. It was that "I'll deal with it later" that got repeated so many times it became part of your routine, without you even realizing it was turning permanent, turning into your entire life. Small decisions, repeated for 20 years, 30 years, almost without a single break. They don't stay small. They become the entire difference between being free at 60 and being stuck at 60. Between sleeping soundly and feeling that weight on your chest every time the statement shows up. And here's the cruelest part. Nobody notices it happening in the moment. Each decision on its own looks completely harmless. One dinner out, one car upgrade, one "I deserve this" every now and then, because you worked hard and you really do deserve it. None of them, on their own, seem like enough to explain 20 lost years. But together, one after another, quietly stacking up, they explain exactly that. They explain the gap between where you are and where you thought you'd be by now. If anything I've said so far hit home, if you felt that sting, that "this is me" moment, Drop a comment below and tell me what you're feeling. Could be anger, could be regret, could just be, I never thought about it that way. And if this video's already getting to you, hit that like button right now before you keep watching. It helps this reach more people who need to hear this today too. Enough with the pain. Now here's the part that actually changes the game. Here's exactly how to calculate your own number tonight for every debt you're carrying. No complicated spreadsheet, no expensive course, no advisor. Step 1. Grab a piece of paper or open the Notes app on your phone and list out every debt you have right now, one by one. Don't skip a single one, not even the one you'd rather not look at. Next to each one, write down what it actually bought you: the house, the car, the kids' college, last year's vacation, the new couch, or, being completely honest, nothing you can even point to today. Step 2. For anything that still has value today, right now, in this moment, estimate what it's worth. The house, at today's market price. The degree, by how much it still boosts your income. The equipment for your business, by what it still produces. That's your value created. Step 3. Add up everything you've already paid on that debt so far, plus whatever's left to pay, interest included. That's your total cost. Step 4. Divide the value by the cost. If the result's above 1, that debt is still on your side. It's still working for you. Don't rush to kill it off first. If the result's below 1, that debt is dead weight. It already did its job a long time ago, and now it's just costing you month after month, giving nothing back. That one goes first, no matter how small the payment feels, no matter how long you've been carrying it, no matter how much it feels like just a little bit more. Step 5. For everything that falls into that second group, every extra dollar you've got this month goes straight there. No exceptions. Not into savings yet, not into investing yet, not toward the next furniture upgrade. First, it goes toward closing the hole that's bleeding your future dry right now, quietly, every single month. This isn't about being completely debt-free for the rest of your life. It's about never again carrying a debt without knowing clearly which way it's pulling you. Once you run this math on your own life, you can't unsee it. You can't look at a loan the same naive way ever again. And here's the most important part. You can do this math tonight, right now, before you go to bed. You don't need to wait for next month, your next paycheck, or next Monday. The paper's right there. The pen's right there. The only thing missing was this question. And now you've got it. Here's the truth almost nobody tells you after 45. The mistake was never using debt. Debt, used right, builds empires, builds wealth, builds freedom. The mistake was never learning how to measure it. And that's a mistake you can stop making tonight. Not 10 years from now. Tonight. There's still time to build real wealth. Still time to fix that retirement account that feels way too thin every time you run the numbers. Still time to get back that freedom you thought had already slipped away. Stuck somewhere back in the past you can't even pinpoint anymore. 45 isn't the end of the story. It's just the exact moment you finally figured out which question you should have been asking all along. You're probably going to walk away from this thinking the same thing I thought years ago when I finally got it. I wish I'd learned this at 25, but thank God you learned it before 60. Hold on to that number. Hold on to that question. Because from now on, every time somebody offers you a loan, a financing deal, a 12-month zero interest, you're not just going to ask if it fits your budget anymore. You're going to ask, is this going to come back to me in some form? Or is it going to disappear, leaving only the payment behind? That question, all by itself, is worth more than any course, any advisor, any miracle promise you've ever heard. And if you want to know exactly how to apply this to your own retirement, because finding the number is just step one. The video popping up on your screen right now shows you what's next, how to recover 15 years of lost retirement, starting with the money you already have today without needing one extra dollar beyond what you already make. This might be the most important conversation you have with your own future all year, because 15 years from now, there's going to be a version of you at 60. That version is already being built right now, today, with every decision you make this week. And that future you is going to look back at this exact moment, at this video, at tonight. And there's only one of two things left to feel: relief, because you stopped to ask this question in time. Or that same gut punch from the start of this video, only deeper, only permanent, because there won't be any time left to fix it. Deciding which one of those two you're going to be isn't happening 15 years from now. It's happening right now, this second, before this video even ends.